Good evening. Today I am going to start a very interesting subject, political science. The topic is federalism. I think you might have heard this word many times in news. It's maybe national or local or whatever in the international news, maybe. Because uh, at that time, during the time of COVID-19, there are many coalition and especially the trade wars is going on between China and USA, and the regional group are forming day by day, for instance quad group, and there is coalition between the many countries regarding their personal interest or the interest of the community, and especially the China's policy, aggression policy. Okay, so in that context you might have heard the term federalism, communism, or it's maybe unitary, okay, dictatorship, people's government, all these terms. And it is also an interesting subject, interesting topic for your political science preparation. It may be 10 standard, it may be 12 standard, or afterwards if you are preparing for the law or international law or any domestic examination or every sphere. This topic is very very important. Directly now come to the point. Federalism. You may ask me questions of what is federalism. So before moving to federalism, I am telling you some interesting fact. See one thing, a country. Today, what I am telling a country, it is a political identity. Understand? Now, if I will ask you, what do you mean by country? Basically, country consists of four things. Number one, population. All country must have population. Human population. Human population. It doesn't mean that we are denying the population of other flora and fauna, but prominent is the human population because human beings are the political beings said by Aristotle. Understand? Number two, a country must have its constitution. What is constitution? It is a code of conduct or fundamental code of conduct of a country. It's maybe in written or it's maybe in unwritten form. That you might have heard that India or Sri Lanka, these are the country have written constitution, whereas Great Britain they have partially written constitution. Understand? Third one is the geographical area. A country must have its fixed geographical area. The length and the breadth is not a matter. Suppose Vatican City, world most smallest country, and the Russia is the biggest country at that moment across the globe. Okay, so size is not the matter. Matter is the geographical area. And fourth thing is the decision making body. Now for instance, the country like USA or country like India, USA is the oldest democracy and India is the biggest democracy. And right now USA elections is going on. By the news you may heard that Joe Biden actually won the contest of presidential election, and in last 20 years, 20 to 25 years, actually Donald Trump is the first unfortunate president who has lost his that's called second term of election. Otherwise before Donald Trump, that's called what Barack Obama, he has also completed his second term, 8 years. Understand? So in that country the peoples are not directly taking the decision. People are the sources of all the power, but they are sending their representative to the parliament. The parliament of a country, okay, the parliament of a country is somewhat unique. Not only unique, even they have special names. Suppose in India that is called what? Parliament. And in USA it is called Congress. In Great Britain they are also what? That is called Senate. Senate and the House of Commons. Understand? So there are actually in UK Senate and House of Commons in UK and Great Britain. Understand? Okay. Duma in Russia. Okay, and there are lots of names across the world. Actually the parliament all over the globe has. Okay, now come to the point. So here I told you one thing, just a few minutes before that in USA and India like country where people are sending their representative to the parliament or the legislative body, and the representative are taking the decisions in favor of the people. All the people are not directly participated to the decision making. Understand, just point number one, it might be remember. And second, there are some country, other country also, they are one person or one family, they are taking the whole decision. Suppose North Korea, you might have heard the dictator's name called King John. He has taken all the decision. His family is taken all the decisions. Suppose South Africa, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince. The crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, they are taking all the decisions where election is not a matter. Voting is not a matter. So there are two types of framework which is popular in the world. One is the decision taken by the group of people, group of representative. You may tell representative rather than the people. A representative chosen by the entire people of a country, and another decision is taken by a certain family where the aspirations or the wishes of the common people doesn't work. So in these two contexts, there are two types of government. The first one that I told, which is government called the federal government, and second one is called unitary government. Understand? Now come one by one point. What is unitary government? Unitary government is a form of government where all the decisions or the aspiration or the administrative work is done under the sole guidance of a single person or the family. Suppose in North Korea or in Gulf countries, most of the Gulf countries, their decision is taken by a certain Shahi family, then princess, where the common people can't take in decision making process. This country are called the unitary country. On the other hand, the country like India, USA, Great Britain, Germany, or Sri Lanka even, where though they are varies in size, but the main important decisions are taken by the public representative, chosen by the not only chosen, elected by the common people. Understand? So this country, the second that I told, India, Russia, Germany, okay, USA, Sri Lanka, these the country are called what? These the country are called federal country. So if I told you, or if I ask you that what do you mean by federation, or what do you mean by federal government? So federal government is a form of government where two or more layers, remember one thing, two or more layers or government can be found, and they are working under the sole guidance of the written constitution, here written or partially written. And if there is certain conflict among the two or more layers of government regarding their duties and responsibilities, one independent judiciary, what I told, independent judiciary can resolve the dispute. And lastly, most important things is that the concept of sharing of power and separation of power must be work in these types of government is known as federal government. So here four approaches are there in federal government. Number one, the layers of the government is divided two or more than two. That means what? In center, that is called central government. In provinces, that are called provincial government or the state governments, and in local they're called local government. Number one thing. Number two, the responsibility. The responsibility is directly mentioned, clearly mentioned in the constitution. For instance, consider USA. The federal subject is the subject of central government. Sir, what comes under the federal subject? Federal subject means the subject which are directly exercised by the central government. That means what? Foreign affairs, military, communications. These are the what? Federal subjects. And there are some provincial subjects as well. Sir, what are the provincial subjects? That means what? These provincial subjects are exercised by the provincial government. Law and order, land reforms. These are few examples. And you might have heard the two terms. They are called what? Municipality, village, council, corporation. They are the local bodies. They are exercising or they are promoting the local development. So in this way, two or more than two forms. Many countries like Switzerland, where two forms are there. In Sri Lanka, two forms are there. But the biggest country like India, USA, Canada, there are three types of government can exist. One is what? Central. Second is provincial. And third one is local. Okay. Now come, if there is conflict regarding provincial and what? Now federal government, who will take the decision? The decision must be taken by independent judiciary. For in India, the head of independent judiciary is Supreme Court. Britain also Supreme Court. Okay. So Supreme Court is there, and for separation of power and sharing of power concept must be mentioned. Separation of power and sharing of power we will do pretty bit later. Now come, one thing is that, sir, these features are really absent in unitary government. Sure, absolutely. These features are not mentioned, not at all present in unitary government. But you may ask me one question, sir, many unitary countries are there, they are well developed. Yes, I do agree with that. Many unitary countries are there, they are economically well developed. Example, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai. Yes, you know, these are the few giant, oil export giant. But here development is a matter, but one terms, just listen it, I will discuss in economic sector, crony capitalism. Crony, C-R-O-N-Y, crony capitalism. That I will do later on. Okay, so come here, in unitary system, constitution is not plays an important or central role, because one family is taking decision, their word is constitution, so constitution is not a matter. Number two, I told you na, separation of power and sharing of power is not at all mentioned there, because in India, even Sri Lanka, or in like country like USA, their legislative, judiciary and executive, they are performing separately. But in this country, in that country, this concept is totally absent, because decision is made, maintained and taken. Three things: made, maintained and taken by a certain family. Suppose in North America, Kim Jong-un, or in UAE, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince. You might have heard the name always, because see, whenever you are studying economics or studying political science, you have to concern, or you have to update it always with the international aspect or the aspect of your local area. Am I clear? Are you getting my point, my dear? I think You are getting my point. Okay. Okay. Next come. So there the things is that, say, unitary country, this separation of power, sharing of power is not at all required, because decision is maintained and taken by a certain family or a few people. They are hereditary gaining the power. That means what? Suppose, see, King Jong In, before that King Jong Ul, his father. Now he, after his death, I think his son or another person from his family, they will take the decision. Understand? Because they are not politically elected, they are hereditarily acquired the power. Why I am telling acquired? Because the power basically they receive from their forefathers, and it is maintained generation after generation. Okay. So I think you might have heard, you might have understand the two concepts. One is federalism and another is unitary government. Understand? Now comes that in federalism, how many types of there? See, depending on the origin and the structure. What I am saying, depending on the origin and the structure, federation can be divided into two categories. Number one, coming together, and number two, holding together. What is coming together? Just listen carefully one by one word, because each and every word is a political word and each and every word is needed here to remember, to recollect and to understand. What? Coming together. That means when many small units, what did I say? Many small units join together with an aspiration. What? Many small units join together with an aspiration to make a big country. They are called what? Coming together federation. Example? Yes, that is example of USA. In 1774, under the dynamic leadership of Washington, Princess Washington, the 13 colonies joined together with a declaration of American independent war. They fought against British and they gained independence. As a result, in 1887, before 2 years of French Revolution, just listen my word, before 2 years of French Revolution, the American written constitution have been passed. American written constitution have been passed by their constituent assembly. This is called what? Coming together federation. So at that moment 13 colonies were there. Florida, Georgia, okay, for these are certain name of the colonies. And right now there are 50 states in USA. How many states? 50. Second one is the holding together federation. You might have seen the umbrella, no? Umbrella is this type. When a big country, what did I say? When a big country divide itself into many small units. When a big country divide itself into many small units to deliver effective governance. To deliver effective governance. These types of country is called holding together federation. For example, India, where India is at that moment is divided into 28 states and 8 union territories. That means 36 units. Like an umbrella, where axis all the spokes are joined with an axis. Understand? Holding together. Sir, what is the difference between two coming together and holding together? First, we have to give the definition. In coming together, many small countries, many small units are joining together with an aspiration to make a big country. And where second one is in holding together, a big country divides itself into many small units for delivering the effective governance. Here divide means not division, politically divide, but the main power vested in the hand of central government. First point. Second, in coming together federation is federal units, thus in provinces is much more stronger than central government. What happened? During the lockdown, many a time Donald Trump shouting, the governor of certain provinces are not at all listening to me. Because in America, the concept is what? Coming together federation. There, in many a step, or many instances, the provincial government exercising more power than that of the central. But in holding together federation, this concept is totally absent. Suppose in India, the power of foreign affairs, the power of constitutional amendment lies in the hand of central government only. Nominal role of what now? That's called the provincial government. Second, in coming together federation, the federal unit may secede. I told you the terms of secede. Secede means separate. That is a Latin term. Secede means separate. In 1991, what happened in USSR? At that time, USSR divided into 15 units and separate, and presently they all are the poorest and surviving countries. For instance, Ukraine, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these are some countries. But in holding together federation, the federal unit doesn't exercise the power to secede themselves. That means, suppose in India's one state thought that it will separate from India and make our own country. It's not possible because this power is not there. In news, you might have heard the issue of Jammu and Kashmir. But Jammu Kashmir, once they exercised the special status, but right now this is also finished because amendment was there, abrogation of 370 article. Okay, so right now it is an integral part of Indian territory. So in these two concepts, I think you might have remembered. And tomorrow I will proceed the main content or the concept of power sharing.